Welcome back, all our 40k fanatics out there. I'm DJ.
And I'm Lane.
And we are here at Tim's Nation to bring you another Warhammer 40k battle report. Today, I will be playing the Grey Knights as Lane is bringing the Death
Guard.
Yes, that's right.
Death Guard.
Not Death Watch today.
No Death Watch, Death Guard.
Which I'm happy about because that means that, for the most part, when the things get on the board, they stay on the board.
I do not have any uppy downies.
No.
A couple of deep strikes, but no uppy downies.
Yeah, that's my job today. Picking up units, jumping all over the table and stuff like that. And yeah, this is going to be the second run for my list. After last week, so...
Well, it's a different list.
A little bit. I mean,
there's no Nemesis Dread Knights.
No Dread Knights in here.
And there's some other special guy in this list.
No Dread Knights here. Yeah, so I wanted to test something before locking it. I liked what I ran last week. I liked how it played. I know what Dread Knights can do. I've been running them. But one thing that I've kind of been feeling lately is that Toughness 8 is really it's not strong enough. With a lot of the weapons that we're seeing in the game, a lot of the tanks, a lot of the vehicles, the Toughness 8 means that we're taking a lot more hits, which means we're taking a lot more saves, which means we're taking a lot more damage.
Just depends on your 4-ups. At that point, you're like a Custodes player, just how many 4-ups can I make?
Yeah, and it just starts to turn to the fact where I feel like my Dread Knights are hitting and then just disappearing after one round of shooting. So I want to try something a little bit different today. And Lane's bringing the Death Guard. Mm-hmm. Pretty much, and I feel like we end up always back here. Grey Knights into Death Guard.
Yeah,
Dirty
shiny
versus pestilence.
Yeah, shiny versus dirty. Nothing's really special with this list today. I have some shooting units, I have some punching units, and I have some scoring units. So it's a pretty good mix of just a variety of stuff in here. I have a Death Guard Land Raider. I haven't run him on the channel yet.
Secrets.
10 seconds till we start talking about lists.
This is true.
I'm debuting my gross Land Raider today. But yeah, that's it. I also did want to shout out a couple of people who have been watching the channel. Levi and his dad, Joe. They've been watching our channel, commented on a few things. They have started their own YouTube channel where Levi, I think, is 8 years old. So he and his dad are doing battle reports together. They're just getting started out. So if you guys want to go and follow and subscribe to Scruffy Wars, Levi and his dad would probably appreciate that quite a bit. And I appreciate them for watching us. So here's a little...
Always.
Yeah. So thanks back and go check out Scruffy Wars.
And you know another way that you can show that you appreciate watching us?
Also subscribe to us.
Subscribing to our channel, yes.
So click subscribe for us first and then go over to Scruffy Wars. And
exactly.
Click subscribe for them.
All right. Well, with all that boilerplate stuff out of the way, let's jump over to the list that we're going to be taking here today. Lane, talk to us about the Death Guard.
All right. If you want to know more details about the units we're running, their special abilities, and how we plan to use them in the game, please go check out our separate army list videos where we go through all that. Right here, we're just going to go through it pretty quickly. Now, today, I've got exactly 2,000 points of Death Guard in the Plague Host. I'm not really interested in the Grotsmith detachment. The scout move on the infantry is cute, but I'm still going to put Plague Marines in transports. I'm still going to deep strike Death Shroud Terminators. Giving them stealth is solid, but I just I prefer having the Plague Company. So I'm just running that today. So, of course, because we're Death Guard, we've got 79 characters here, 545 points in characters. I have 2 Biologist Putrefiers, 2 Foul Blight Spawns, 2 Death Guard Sorcerers and Terminator Armor that are going to be flying solo. I do have Typhus also flying solo, and then the Lord of Virulence will be leading the Death Shrouds. His enhancement is Shamble Rot. We do have 2 10-mans of Plague Marines kitted out for as many close combat weapons as I can stick on them. Then 1 Rhino. We've got 2, this is the only proxies I have today, 2 10-mans of Cultists. I'm just using Poxwalkers as my Cultists, but I really want that scout move they have, so that's what we're using today. I do have a Hellbrute with the twin heavy bolter on there. We do have a Death Guard Land Raider. I'm going to put some Plague Marines in there, see if I can take advantage of the move, disembark, and charge rule that they have. And then a 6-man brick of Death Shroud Terminators. Allied in, we have 2 War Dog Brigands with all the shooty baby knights there. DJ, what are you bringing today?
All right, so we're still on the Grey Knight Warpbane Task Force. And as Lane mentioned, we are not bringing any Dread Knights today. So instead, we also have a Land Raider, but our Land Raider is a Land Raider Crusader. With the Warpbane Task Force giving us all the rerolls, I want to give this bad boy a try. Those Hurricane Bolters on the side that could potentially have full rerolls to hit and full rerolls to wound because they're twin links. So we'll see how he does. Moving on to the rest of the list, we do have 30 purifiers. I finally did it and just said, all right, we're going in all the way. 30 purifiers, 2 of which the squads have 4 side cannons. One has the incinerators, which is going to be led by Castle and Crow. Then we have a 5-man squad of Strike, led by the Brotherhood Champion with the only enhancement in this detachment, and that's the enhancement that does mortal wounds for each successful wound made. We have 2 5-mans of the Interceptors with a single side cannon in them. We also have 3 5-mans of Purgation Squad, all with side cannons. And last is a 10-man, technically 11 with the puppy, of the Exaction Squad. Yeah, Exaction Squad. I had to think because everything got like Exaction units infiltrating this. It's Exaction Squad.
Exaction.
There's a couple units that could go into that role. I also was looking at the Breachers because the Breachers have the full rerolls to wound versus units on objectives. So being a backfield unit, if you take my objective, the Breachers could move up and then have full rerolls to wound going into it. But when you look at the damage output, you go, oh yeah, I got full rerolls to wound, but you're still hitting some brutal units with a stick. So I went with the Exaction because of the D3 heal, so that if these guys get kind of picked on early or just get some stray damage to them, whether it's from artillery fire and stuff like that, where their job is to hold that home field objective, I can resurrect those D3 guys and keep the squad size at a good sizable point to zone out. The big trial on this one is how many side cannons I have in this list today. We have 22 side cannons. So
Okay.
let's see. We're going to see how that does. With the Purgation Marines, this is one thing I've been, Lane and I, and also Zach and I have been discussing for a bit, is that the Purgation Marines are kind of, in the other detachment, they're in a weird point. They're cool because they're artillery based, as long as another Grey Knight unit can see. Interceptors are interesting with them as well, because when you do things and you're like, oh, haha, I'm going to rapid ingress. This happened in our last game where you're like, okay, I put the squad here. There's no way you can see me. I was like, well, I can shoot with the Interceptors, move them 6. Now I can see you. So some fancy stuff to be able to still get the Purge in range. On top of it, with the hollowed ground and having those full rerolls to hit, it kind of puts them in a different category that I really want to try, which is artillery that can reroll hits. The AP1, that's kind of rough because typically if I'm using the artillery, that means that the AP1 is irrelevant.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. There's still 2 damage, still 3 shots, still re-rolling hits, and we're Grey Knights, so we're teleporting around. So it's going to be interesting. I'm interested to see how that works, and we'll see if I keep telling Lane with this. I was like, either I'm going to really like this and lock this in and then clean up all the models and get them all situated, because I know that they're kind of ugly looking at this point when you got some work to do, some of the Grey Knights. But that's if I like this list and if I want to keep practicing and pushing it forward. Or turn 2, do I go, I really miss my Dread Knights right now.
You might, I mean, yeah, you don't have a lot of anti-tank in this list, do you?
I mean, the side cannons are strength 8, AP 1, 2 damage.
Just so no, you don't have a lot of anti-tank.
You know, my anti-tank is hit it really hard till it explodes.
Believing that you can.
I mean, we do have 1 command point to give the purifiers full rerolls to wound.
Sure.
Which is very, very, actually
it definitely can. Really it has damaged some of my vehicles before.
Yes. And then what we've seen before in the past too, some of the shocking point is just the sheer volume of attacks that the squad has. That can be with the AP2 and that can be enough to kind of push them through to actually do that damage. So you do have a couple vehicles that I'll have to test my steel against. I don't expect that I'm going to be getting my hands too close to the Land Raider, since it does have the las cannons. I mean, yes, assault ramp, drop unit off, but it can kind of do one of those run up there, drop everyone off, and then back it up, and use the las cannons from long range. So we'll see how that all plays out. You know, secondary objectives. The old saying of everyone's got a plan till they get punched in the face. In 40K, it should be everyone's got a plan till they draw their secondary objective cards.
Right.
Because that's where it all changes. You're like, all right, I'm going to go back and play defensive. Turn 1, behind enemy lines. Engage on all fronts. Okay, well, let's see if we can, which probably can't, do that. All right, Lane, odd or even?
Even.
And it is even. So I have 1 unit that can scout, but they can't because of the Brotherhood Champion.
So no infiltrators,
no
scouts?
infiltrators. Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Yeah, I guess I'll have you drop first then.
All right. We'll be back after deployment. All right. We are deployed. Lane, talk to us about what we're doing here today.
We are playing the glorious game of Warhammer 40,000. Our deployment today is Crucible of Battle. We're at the angles. We kind of both have our deployment zones pretty well marked out with our models there. Our mission special rule is swift action. Battle line units can advance or fall back and are still eligible to perform an action. And then our primary mission is Scorched Earth. This is where we get 5 points for each objective we control each turn, up to 10 points. In order to score more points, we can burn objectives. Burning is an action. It starts in your turn and completes it in your opponent's turn. If you burn an objective in no man's land, it's 5 points. If you burn your opponent's objective, it is 10 points.
All right, so talking about deployments, for me, I only have one unit in Deep Strike, which is a 10-man Purifiers with Incinerators, led by Castle and Crow. Otherwise, everything is on the board. So the Exaction Squad, as I said, is going to be zoning out the backfield. Since the home field objective matters for this one, that's what we're going to be trying to do. We did start the strike on the objective. They might get picked up. If not, and they stay down there if we go first, they'll at least be able to stick to the objective. And then we have all of our Purge Squad here. They have 24 inches on all 3 objective markers at center. So we'll see if that's where they're going to stay or what they're going to do as the game goes on. Next up, we do have a squad of Purifiers in here. They're on board. They'll probably get picked up, but they are in a good position to be able to move out to threaten either one of these objectives. And then back here, we have the Land Raider and 5 Interceptors. Inside of the Land Raider, with this big transport capacity of 16, we have 10 Purifiers and 5 Interceptors. Interceptors are really nice coming out of a transport. Since they already have a 12-inch move, they get a 3-inch disembark, and then when they shoot, they can move again after, meaning that they can get really, really good distance across the field. All right, Lane, your turn.
And Deep Strike, I do have my 6-man Death Shroud led by the Lord of Virulence, who has the Shamble Rot enhancement, making them -2 to charge. I also have 2 solo Sorcerers and Terminator Armor and Typhus, all Deep Striking, all solo. On the board, I've got a Rhino with 10 Plague Marines in there with the characters. We do have a War Dog Brigand ready to go out there and shoot some things. Once again, these are cultists, not poxwalkers, no matter what your eyes may tell you. So they're ready to do a scout move and also hold my objective here. We do have the Hellbrute ready to go out and tag some things, put them into contagion. The Land Raider ready to move forward and push some Death Guard Plague Marines out there in the middle of the table, and one more Brigand ready to get some eyes on targets.
All right, so now in this one, you don't have any of the uppy downy. So does that change you wanting to go first or second in this matchup?
Not really.
Yeah.
I think I can go either way with this one.
I mean, with the Grey Knights, I have a little bit more play over here now with the Land Raider and some units on the table. So I can play a little better going first. But always, with armies like this that have that up and down specialty, going second is always the way you want to go. Mm-hmm. So, all right, let's let the dice decide. And I will be going second. Hooray, hooray for me. All right. So, do you have any...
I do have a scout move.
You do have scout moves.
Yep. I got these... these guys are going to go forward 6 inches, I think. And then we'll start my turn.
All right. So, Lane's going to move those guys and get them real pre-positioned. And then it's time to play the game.
For my first turn, I pulled no prisoners in area denial. One of those I'm going to score pretty well. So we did get the scout moving. The cultists moved up here, and we're able to move in for area denial. Neat, 5 points. Not going to get any no prisoners, but you know what? We're probably going to hold on to that. DJ's going to have to show me something on this table that I will try to kill. So we just kind of moved everything forward. We're going to get blasted by the Purgation squads because they can shoot indirectly, but I don't think they'll do much damage to anything other than these little babies. They're going to score me my 5 points and then die gloriously. That's it. So 5 for me on area denial. On to DJ's turn.
Well, yeah. Here we go. We're going for it.
As they say, DJ is making a play.
We're calling the Wah for Grey Knights. They're going Wah or for the Emperor or whatever it may be. For this turn, we got Sabotage and Secure No Man's Land. Sabotage, I'm not necessarily as worried about right now because any place I go with it is a risk of Lane just destroying the units and me being stuck with Sabotage. So I think I'm going to turn that into a command point. Otherwise, we're just we're going for it. So This is our firing lane. Now, here's the problem. If we blow up the rhino, the dudes inside have fight first. So we need to do sufficient damage to them to make that fight first not that brutal. So we brought a lot. We got a purge squad here, a purge squad here. We still have one purge that we left on the table over here. We did pick up the purifiers, move the exaction squad out, spread them out better, and move the strike into the corner. And then we moved everything else up, disembarking the purifiers from the Crusader, disembarking the interceptors from it. And over here, we brought the purifiers, like I said, purge. So we got full rerolls in this entire area. And yeah, we're going to do some shooting and see what we can pick up over here. A big part of it is if we do not do enough damage to that squad inside and don't pick up the rhino, we could be in some trouble here. All right. Notice my tone now. Let's see if my tone stays this happy and jubilant when we come back. Well, I keep a very, very happy tone because everything from that area is gone. First of all, the Land Raider, superb, superb. I got kind of lucky, and both the Hunter Killer and the Multi-Melta got through for damage. And so the Land Raider Crusader by itself was able to pick it up. Awesome, awesome right there. Not too heavy on the damage rolls on those, but considering the fact those are D6 damage and D6 plus 2 damage weapons, having those stick really did help for the Land Raider to be able to finish it off. So yeah, happy there. And then as far as everything else, we had these purifiers and this squad of purifiers were the ones that were just able to pick up the Plague Marines and characters inside. The two purgation squads tried their might going into the War Dog, did a little bit of damage. We got them down to 6. And then these interceptors shot first and then just moved up onto the objective, where this squad of Purge were able to shoot art indirectly because now the interceptors could see them, and poof, the cultists are gone. So we will be able to I can speak, secure no man's land. But we're not done yet. We're going to try and make a charge with the purifiers into the War Dog to see if we can't clean them up and just kind of spread out our control a little bit more. All right, let's charge. So as you notice, they ran and charged and got here, and well, we got them down to 3 wounds. We had to use a command point to re-roll, so we weren't able to use a command point to go full re-rolls to wound, which would have been nice, because it is shooting or fighting. That would have been nice into him. Probably would have helped me to pick him up, but I think we've done sufficient damage this phase, and I'm not mad at that this was a little sluggish, and we took no damage in return. So I'm happy. I'm very happy with that. I got some progression up the field, too. We did get secure no man's land, and we'll pitch sabotage for a command point, and I'll call that a turn. All right, let's kick it over to Lane and his turn 2.
So we kept no prisoners, and now we are defending strongholds, what we pulled here. So we just kind of pushed forward. Land Raider scooched out here. Hellbrute scooched out. These guys jumped out of the Land Raider after it moved, so they can go and wreak some havoc in here. And then I just brought down my 3 characters to kind of go into these purifiers. Purifiers are a problem with all their anti-infantry shenanigans. He didn't fail his battle shock, so he's just got to stay right there and do some shooting there. But yeah, that's it. So we're going to go on to move my shooting other than
Magic.
After I moved, DJ Rapid Ingress the purifiers or crows so they could overwatch these guys when they charge. So yeah, that's it. We're going to do some shooting. So the brigand could see these guys. So he killed a couple, and then we killed the 1 or 2 with the shooting from the Plague Marines here. I did Hazardous, the guy with the plasma gun, and he died. Unfortunate. Then the Hellbrute shot downtown here into these 10-man purifiers, put them in the contagion. And then we just shot them with some things, with the Land Raider shooting downtown into them, and then doing some magic here. One of the sorcerers picked up everything but 2, and then Typhus, I took a risk and we did his magic on the last 2 guys and did get 6 mortals, so I finished the squad with Typhus's magic. The other wizard overcharged his shots into here, only got 1 of them, and one of my wizards did Hazardous, so one of them took 3 mortal wounds. But that's about that for shooting. This brigand picked up several of these guys. Really worried about this Overwatch threat, but I'm just going to have to take it on the chin because I got to get in there and start doing some work. So we're going to go do some bonking. So we did get overwatched here, but it wasn't that bad. DJ rolled only 7 hits on his 4 flamers, so he did lose 3 or 4 guys there, but able to charge in here. I did pile in and tag the purifiers of Crow, and I had 2 heavy plague weapons going there. We popped our sustained, so we did pick up 4 of those guys, leaving just Crow and 1 other guy. On the punchback, Crow did pick up 2 guys or 3 guys. But we also wiped this squad here of the interceptors. These guys, of course, picked up the brigand that only had 3 wounds left. Didn't make any charges in here other than the 1 sorcerer. He did pick up 1 guy, but also survived the combat there, so he didn't die to that. So yeah, we got 2 for no prisoners. Defending stronghold is pending. That's it for my turn. On to DJ.
Behind enemy lines and area denial is what we're doing this turn. So we need to clear the center, move the purifiers up to assist with that, and brought the Brotherhood champion and his strike out as well, so that we can try and get rid of these Plague Marines. There is only, looks like 5 Plague Marines left, and then there's 2 characters. 4 Plague Marines left and 2 characters. So primarily it's getting rid of the Plague Marines, especially those heavy plague weapons is what they're called.
Mm-hmm.
Before we charge in. Not as worried about the character crackback, it's the plague weapon. So if we can just get rid of them, I'll be in a much happier place. Then over here we did evacuate.
He fell back.
With
Evacuate's not a word.
Evacuate is a word.
Not a Warhammer word.
It's a Warhammer word today, because we're playing on a Thursday. So they fell back, but they're on the objective. That's allowed me to bring the interceptors over here. Mostly because this is like one opportunity I have, and I got to remove all 3 of these guys right now. Getting rid of them starts lowering Lane's actual assets, and can play into kind of one of the better benefits that Grey Knights have, is the fact that even a single model can start scoring secondaries late into the game. So the more of Lane's units that I can just remove from the table, the better off we are. Oh, and we brought the Land Raider over here to make sure that happens. So he's gonna put everything into them, and hopefully we'll pick all those characters up. That's the game plan, at least. All right. Oh, and as well, Lane said, all right, you want to rapid ingress and Overwatch me? I can do it too. So Lane dropped them in to try and rapid ingress them. We'll see what these guys roll in being, because they do have that anti-infantry 2 up. It's only 1 shot, 1 damage, and AP 1. So it's not the best weapon to go into them, but at least it gets by that toughness 6. So we may end up shooting that over there. We'll see. All right, let's start doing some shooting. Did a decent job with the damage. So we almost finished off. Lane actually spent his command point for the reroll to keep 1 Plague Marine alive. So he will not be able to Overwatch, which means these guys are free to charge. So we did some shooting in there, obviously. Like I said, we got down to just 1 Plague Marine and the 2 characters. Across the map, I had these guys shoot at the Terminators. That didn't go too well. But over here, the Land Raider was able to pick up Typhus, and these guys were able to peel the last wound off of that Sorcerer. So there's just 1 little dude hanging back here who we're going to try and smack him into space with some different weapons and run into him with the tank. And yeah, do all that jazz. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this, because I had behind enemy lines, I did drop a squad of Purge back here, and they shot all but 1. So 1 lone little dude hangs out back to hold that home objective. And that's it. So let's do some charges and wrap up the turn. So we did make every charge that we were trying to do. The Strike and Brotherhood champion charged in. We lost 2 guys because of the fight first. So not too bad. And that definitely would have been a lot more if a couple of more of those plague weapons were in there, because those things are just absolutely vicious. And then we decided to charge the Land Raider. I kind of want to mess with it a little bit and stop its forward progression. This way my Crusader can get out of the corner that I put it in for right now. So I had the turn to do what I'm doing. And then over here, we didn't quite get all the characters. He's down to 2 wounds. And then we lost 2 guys in exchange. I feel, oh, that's gone too. But it's a comfortable position, because hopefully we can finish him off during his turn. That -1 damage is really, really nice with his ability. So that kept him around. So we did score area denial, because we were able to clear the center. And behind enemy lines, we went with the fact of 1 unit is at least 3 points. Drop these guys back here. And yeah, that's looking pretty good. All right, kick it over to Lane in his turn 3.
So I pulled Sabotage and Establish Locus. I spent my last CP to pitch out Establish Locus and do Marked for Death. DJ did pick those kiddos, the Exaction Squad, the Land Raider, and these guys for some reason. So I guess I'm going to try to kill them. Just have to make a 5-inch charge because they only move 4 inches. Is slow boys. And then, yeah, we're just going to try and kill these guys in the middle. I don't think I'm going to try to do Sabotage. So this bravest boy is holding this objective here. It's sticky, so even if he failed his battle shock, wouldn't matter, but he passed it. He's definitely going to live forever. And then, yeah, that's really it. I'm just going to see if I can do some shooting on these guys because the Brigand can see them and the Hellbrute can see them. And then we'll see if we can kill these guys in the middle here between the Land Raiders shooting and then the Hellbrute charging in. And we'll see if we can do a little flame a couple of these guys and then charge in there. So, yeah, the Brigand did pretty well because he actually picked up all the guys and the character with just his shooting. Managed to get it down to just the last one, and DJ failed the invul, and then the last Melta shot went through and picked up the Brotherhood champion there. So that allowed the Hellbrute to shoot down here and tag these. What are they, interceptors?
No, those are Purge too. Those are the Squad of Purge, yeah.
Oh, the Squad of Purge
that's
fallen back there. I think he killed one, but then the Land Raider was able to finish them off with las cannons. The last guy took 15 damage, correct?
Yeah, 15 damage on one guy, you know.
Yeah, that did it.
Man, if I had a Feel No Pain, he would have been alive.
Yeah, these guys had flamed one or two of those guys away, so we made it a little bit easier there. So now we're just going to try to make a charge into these guys. Need a 5 on the dice. Hellbrute's going to charge into these guys, see if we can do some work there. And then that'll be it. That'll be the turn. So these slow-moving Death Shrouds did charge in and finish off the Purgation Squad there. Pile onto the objective. Got that objective. Over here, the Dreadnought.
Dreadnought?
Dreadnought. The Hellbrute. Mine Hellbrute is... he charged in. He did do 3 impact mortals, but then only killed 1 guy in combat. He was hitting on 3s, and I rolled all 1s and 2s of the 1s, so didn't really do a lot of damage. DJ did CP reroll.
Which he really didn't do anything for me either.
Yeah, he did. He only just took 2 damage off the Dread, another 2 off.
The Dread would have taken out 1 more dude.
You would have gotten +1 to wound, and it would have been fancy.
Oh man.
But yeah, that's it. End of my turn. 5 for Mark for Death.
Going into round bottom of 3, I believe. We have Extend Battle Lines and Marked for Death. So Lane picked big bulk of Terminators, big bulky Land Raider, and Walker. Not the Dreadnought. He didn't want to give me that Dreadnought, make me all happy on that. So what I decided to do was put as much as I could into the Terminator. So I already did the shooting. We've already done the shooting phase. So I picked up the Purifier and Crow, as well as the Purge Squad, and the Interceptors. And starting with the Interceptors, they landed 9 inches out, shot that one dude, and then used their 6-inch scoot to move up and take that objective. This squad landed over here, so even if I lose too much of the Purifier Squad, I can still extend battle lines with Crow and his buddy hanging out here. And they were able to shoot over there with the Flamer and anti-infantry and do a little bit of damage. They finished off 1 guy. Land Raider picked up 1 guy. And they really didn't because cover and 2 up saves. You know, that's how that goes. So the Exaction Squad moved up. They got a 5 on their advance. Wasn't quite enough, so they just got in position to do stuff later on. So they're just, and since we sticky that with a strike already. So that was about it. We just got a couple of charges and a little bit of fighting to do. And we'll conclude the turn. Notice how no models are moved? That's because they didn't move. I decided not to charge. Initially, I was considering charging with the Land Raider and trying to tank shotgun here, but because I didn't do quite as much damage as I wanted to, the crackback is going to be a little too vicious. So at least this will buy me a couple extra turns of him trying to take out the Land Raider if he chooses to, which I think he might after I just kind of smacked his Land Raider pretty hard. Because over here, we just bypassed. So Lane got to pick to fight first. He fought with the Dreadnought and picked up another Marine. And then that put me at 4 guys left. So now I'm +1 to wound. So I did 1 command point to reroll wounds over here. The Dreadnought would have died, but Lane spent a command point to reroll it. So he stayed alive with 2. And then we managed to put 6 wounds which Lane saved one of them. I'm sorry, 5 wounds, Lane saved one of them, to put 8 damage on the Land Raider, so it's down to 5. So pretty good payback over into there. It's like I've been saying with these purifiers, they are vicious down to the last model. And that is going to be my turn. So we are going to pitch Mark for Death. Ooh, I'm going to think about that one. I think I'm going to pitch Mark for Death for a command point, even though I kind of have the Land Raider in a good point. I think that might just be the safest way to go. Nah, I think, oh man. Well, you'll have to wait and find out. I'm going to think about that one. But I definitely do score Extend Battle Lines for 5 points.
So for this turn, I have Containment and Cleanse. I may just ignore these and go for the kills and try to shut down DJ's ability to score. So we'll see what happens here. So I moved in towards the Land Raider with these guys. He did Overwatch, but did no damage there. And that's it. I just lined up the Brigand so that you can shoot these guys here. That's it. That's for moving. Let's do a little shooting. Well, that turn went pretty poorly. We did some damage to the Land Raider here. Because I didn't roll very well in my charge, I was able to keep one guy back on the objectives. That's good. The Land Raider, though, he did get him down to 6 wounds, so we've done some work between the shooting and the punching. Rolled really bad on my attacks, but we should be able to finish him off next turn unless he runs away from me. Over here, DJ fought first here and did pick up the Dreadnought. He was using full rerolls to wound, use that strat there. The Brigand shot down here into Crow and the model, and we got 1 melta through. I got 2 melta wounds, but he made one of the saves in the last one. Guy on a 6-up. Thanks to cover. And then Crow took some damage. He's down to 2, but he's still there. So that's that. Yeah, it was actually a pretty bad turn. Didn't score either of my secondaries because I focused on killing, and the killing didn't happen. So DJ has a chance to come back at me.
Looking at Defend Stronghold and Bring It Down for this turn. So as far as Bring It Down is concerned, we're going to hope that these guys have toughened up enough and they're going to be able to take down Land Raider, because that's kind of just where we go with that one. Nice thing is we do kind of have a little bit of time. Like we might be able to do it during our turn, or Lane's turn. So we'll see. At that same time, we are going to try and put a little bit of heat onto the Brigand. The only way we're going to be able to do that is with these mighty Exaction Squad and everything that they bring to the table. More so the fact of 4 Purge with side cannons and Strength 8, AP 1, and full rerolls, because we are now in Lane's deployment zone, which we still control this marker, which means that we still have the Hallowed Ground. And we started to burn that marker. So that marker's not going to be around for very much longer. And that's going to be it. Land Raider stayed in combat, and he's going to shoot and just shoot at these guys and see if we can do some damage before he meets his demise. All right, let's do some shooting. So we just kind of moved all this through. Nothing really got picked up off the board at all. So we did do some damage to him. We got him down to 6 wounds, and it was all from the Purge. If you're expecting anything different, I'm sorry. Purge, we were once able to do it. Just being able to stick home those AP1 flat 2 damages. Over here, Lane hit with a Land Raider and would have taken out the one dude. So instead, I spent my command point to re-roll the armor save to keep him alive, keeping me on 6 attacks. And we were able to get 1 through for 2 damage. So no re-rolls to wound over there. And then over here, the Land Raider is holding on for just a little bit longer. Sticking some saves and making sure he's alive. He's got 4 wounds left, and I'm pretty sure he'll be gone here at the end of this turn. And that's it. So we will not score Bring It Down yet, and we're still sitting on Defense Stronghold, and we'll see if we can't pick up the Land Raider maybe in Lane's turn.
Last turn, I ended up with Recover Assets and Containment. I could score some points, but I just wanted to kill some things. So hasn't been going great here. So we shot a couple of these guys away. The Land Raider finally finished off these guys in shooting. And in the fight phase, these guys finally finished off this Land Raider. So some satisfaction kills, but not enough to score me any points. On to DJ's turn.
I started this turn with Bring It Down, and I picked up Engage on all fronts. So for the most part, it was a very cut, dry, quick turn. There wasn't very much to do because I wanted to make sure I scored those points. So what I did was I just picked up the Purge. I picked up Crow, and that was it. So we landed, as you can see, I landed Crow back here in the corner. I landed the Pure Purge back here in this corner. So it was 2 for Engage. They finished burning the objective, so I didn't need to burn any more because that one was 10 points. The last was to just pick up an objective to score some points, and that was done with the Exaction Squad. Look at them coming in clutch. And guess what? Also, the Exaction Squad blew up the Land Raider. So what I did was I moved them up, and I threw grenades with them. They did 3 wounds, blew up the Land Raider, and then they just charged into him. Lane tried to Overwatch to slow him down to reduce him, but it wasn't able to be enough, and I got that to max out primaries and give me a final score of Grey Knights 89 to a Death Guard 64. Quite an interesting game. Very destructive. We both don't have very much left. I mean, yes, I have a Exaction Squad, but remember how defensive they really are. So they're not the strongest. But yeah, like all my units, I've got a 3-man over here, a 3-man over there, and Lane's got this brick of Death Guard that I have nothing that's going to be able to move them that's on the table. So, all right, well, follow us over to the post game where we'll talk about this game. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.